What if your next level of income is not about necessarily earning more, but cleaning up money power leaks? What if that's how you get it done? I'm Kendall, and in this episode of the Money Coach School podcast, we're talking about the power of plugging money leaks. You know, those outdated decisions that no longer match who you are or where you're going. From underpriced offers to team dynamics that drain your energy, I'm going to show you how to spot the exact places your money and your power are slipping away. We'll explore how to lead with clean, million-dollar decisions that restore clarity, confidence, and cash flow fast. Because once you stop tolerating what no longer fits, overflow becomes inevitable. It's all here for you in this episode of the Money Coach School podcast. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Money Coach School podcast. To really excel at coaching women, you have to be skilled, confident, and even fearless at money coaching. If you're passionate about women holding genuine money power and love supporting women entrepreneurs, then this is the show for you. Now here's your host, money feminist Kendall Summerhawk.
Welcome back to the Money Coach School podcast, the podcast for women who are done playing small with money and ready to make, hold, and multiply real cash flow. Now, today's episode is diving into the start of what I think is going to be a series on money leaks. Now, I'm not sure I'll do every episode in a row about money leaks, but we are definitely going to be looking at these in detail over the next several episodes. And the why is simple. Money is power, and money leaks often don't start out as overspending or just not canceling that subscription that you don't use anymore. They start as a power leak. And what I want for you is to understand and have that aha moment about this, because then as you plug those money leaks, you're really stepping into your power with money. So today we're starting the conversation about where your money and your money power is leaking. Because if you've ever had that feeling like, gosh, I'm making good money, so why doesn't it feel like I'm keeping more of it? Or I thought raising my rates would change everything, but I still feel like I'm behind, anything like that, then you are definitely experiencing money leaks. And they're not just draining your bank account, they can drain your sense of certainty and safety. So let's fix that. First, what is a money leak really? When most people hear money leak, they think about a forgotten subscription or an unexpected bill or maybe over ordering on DoorDash one week. But for women entrepreneurs, money leaks show up beyond just the logistical. Of course, the logistical matters for sure, and those types of money leaks definitely need to be cleaned up. But for most women entrepreneurs, most money leaks are emotional. So here's a simple definition. A money leak is a decision that no longer reflects your current identity, but you're still holding on to it anyway. So for example, it could be that $97 offer you keep selling out of habit, even though it exhausts you and barely moves the needle. It could be that longtime client still paying your old rates because it's just easier not to bring it up. It could be that assistant or team member that you keep paying, even though it's not really working, but you're uncomfortable about having that conversation. I could go on and on. There are so many examples of this, and I think you get the idea. Now, these aren't bad or wrong decisions. They're just outdated. You made them when you were playing smaller, and now they're quietly leaking not just cash flow, but your personal power. No, your goal here is to list out the obvious money power leaks and start handling them one by making $1 million decision instead. Now, I did a whole episode on what $1 million decisions are. It's episode 96. So definitely go listen to that as soon as you're done with this episode today. And I will also link to it in the show notes. So why do we create money leaks? Why do we keep doing that? Because most money leaks come from outsourcing your power. It's not intentional and it's subtle, but it's also habitual. So let me break down the three most common origins of money leaks. Origin number one is outdated identity decisions. You made the decision from a past version of yourself. And maybe it was great at the time, but now that decision is misaligned with your bigness. You've evolved, but your money structure, it hasn't kept up. And I've seen this happen even with past decisions like investing in Facebook ads or that YouTube expert. It sounded great at the time, and you probably had big plans on how it would help you. But today, that decision no longer fits. Yet, you're still carrying the expense. And every time you look at that on your credit card bill or coming out of your bank account, you tell yourself a quick little story that reinforces how that purchase makes sense. But that story, it's rooted in the past and has little to do with where you're going. The second origin of money leaks is external expectations. This is where you're trying to please a client or a mentor, or even an invisible rule about what's reasonable to charge, for example. So you don't raise your rates, or you lower your price, you overdeliver, you keep things accessible. Client boundaries, yeah, they're getting bent all of the time. And again, your brain is feeding you a storyline about why it's okay to let this keep happening. And that story may be because you like the person, or because the economy's wobbly, or because you feel loyal to that old version of you and your business and the client. The third origin is avoiding discomfort. You know something's not working, but you're stepping around, let's be honest, you're tiptoeing around, making the decision to shift it, because that's going to require an uncomfortable conversation, or a price increase, or a new boundary. So it's human nature to delay, and you tolerate. But doing that keeps the leak alive. And the longer it stays, the more it slowly erodes your clarity, your confidence, and definitely your cash flow. Because you can't have fresh cash flowing in on top of money leaks. But here's what I want you to know. Awareness is power. And once you see the leak, you can plug it. So let's plug the leak and plug you into your power. When you plug a money leak, something incredible happens. It's absolutely about you keeping more cash. Yes, of course. But it's also about restoring your money leadership. It's a line in the sand moment where you're saying, I don't stay small because that's how I'm used to doing things, or I don't stay small to keep people comfortable. You're saying, I lead my business, I lead my money, and I trust myself to do what's aligned with where I am headed. And what happens when you start plugging leaks? The effects are exponential. You're going to feel clearer. You're going to have more energy. You will stop second guessing yourself. And yes, you'll have more cash in the bank. Why? Because the past drags us down so much more than we realize until we free ourselves from it. So when your energy is no longer tied up in avoidance or overgiving or undercharging, you're free. You're in charge. You're leading from million-dollar decisions, not past habit. And that makes your next era entirely possible. All right, so coaching questions, right? This wouldn't be a Money Coach School podcast without some great coaching questions. So take a breath, exhale, grab your journal if you can, because here are 3 powerful coaching questions to plug the leak and step into clean, clear money leadership, making million-dollar decisions, right? That's what it's all about. Coaching question number 1. What's one money decision you made 6 months ago that no longer matches the woman you are today? And this is where the past identity is still running the show. So let's find her, thank her, and make a new choice. Coaching question number 2. What money decision are you avoiding because you don't want to disappoint or upset someone, where it may feel temporarily uncomfortable? So notice where you're people-pleasing or over-accommodating. That's a power leak. And coaching question number 3, where in your business does your money feel the most out of alignment right now? And what is one decision that would bring it back under your leadership? This isn't about fixing everything. It's about finding one place where you can restore clarity and control. One clean million-dollar decision today can close a leak and open up new cash flow and overflow. Let's stop leaking power and start multiplying it. So to wrap up here, a couple of things. First, if this episode called you forward, I would so love it if you would leave me a 5-star review. And you're not actually doing it for me. You're doing it because more women deserve to hear the truth about how money actually works for us. Second, here's the truth I want to leave you with. Money doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be present. It needs your attention, your leadership, your love. Because your next level isn't about working harder. It's about cleaning up the money leaks so you create more cash flow and, of course, overflow. Now, if you're ready to plug the leaks, reclaim your power, and lead your money like a woman who has tapped into creating cash flow, yeah, baby, I invite you to watch my free workshop. It's called Overflow, the key to unlocking your $1 million business. This is about rewiring your money relationship and applying the overflow strategy directly to your pricing, your offers, and your profit plan. And this workshop includes key concepts that create your $1 million business, and it includes a wealth of money coaching exercises that I walk you through. It's a rewiring of how you think, feel, and make decisions around money. And so Overflow becomes your new normal. The link to get the free workshop is kendallsummerhawk.com/workshop. And plus, I'll link to it below this episode in the show notes. And I want you to remember this. You were never meant to settle for just enough. You're here for freedom, for flow, for overflow that starts with one clean $1 million decision. All right. Thank you so much. And I will see you here in next week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode of the Money Coach School podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you follow so you never miss an episode. Also, I would so love and appreciate if you would leave a 5-star review. Your review supports women just like you in discovering all of the juicy tips and insights I'm sharing here on how to coach women on money. And if you want to learn how to excel at coaching women on money, definitely go to kendallsummerhawk.com and check out the wealth of money coach trainings that we have for you. Thanks so much for being part of this money coaching movement and for tuning into the show every week.